Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. Today's tip is going to be on standing poses, but those with more of a closed hip nature. So we're going to talk about your stance, about entering into these poses from different positions, and then making adjustments that are good for you and your body. Because yoga is fully accessible to everyone. Everybody has different bodies, and there's going to be a certain way that you need to be in it to make your body and your practice safe. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to flow through it to see how it feels in your body. So when you're ready, have some blocks just in case you need them to bring the floor to you, make things a little bit more accessible, and we're going to stand up. So starting standing, and you feel free to watch this part, follow along with whatever you want, pause, come back to it, or maybe just stop, hop right into the flow. So from here, closed hips. So when we think about closed hips, we want to think our hips, we have them open to the long end of our mat, or we have them closed to the long end of the mat and more open to the front of the mat. So we're going to go through 3 poses that are seen quite frequently in different yoga classes. So we're going to go with a high lunge, Virabhadrasana 1 or warrior 1, and prasarita or pyramid pose. So we're going to go through those. So starting with warrior 1, take your feet, you can just step them out almost wide as one leg, right? So just one leg distance apart. You're gonna turn your right toes to the top of your mat. And then your back toes are gonna kind of turn out toward the side, kind of at a 45-degree angle with that back foot. So we're gonna start with warrior 1. So with warrior 1, you're gonna bend into that front knee, so that front knee stacks right over that front ankle. And this might be like, I don't really feel much in your hips or in your knee. So that's when you're gonna take that back foot and you're gonna step it back a little bit more. And it might get to the point where it's too much and you're kind of leaning forward and there's a lot of pressure in your low back. And again, you can lift up through that bottom leg, but see if you can keep that knee stacked over the ankle. So you might need to step that foot back. So there's a bit of wiggle room here. And if I were to stand facing you, right? So my hips are closing more. They're not going to be 100% this way in this pose because that back heel is on the ground. So we'll get to the part where you can really square the hips in a moment. So pressing down, lifting up, dropping that tailbone and pushing that back heel into the back mat. And then your arms will just reach up. And if it's too much to reach your arms this way, you have cactus arms, you have arms out, or even hands on your hips during this pose. Most important part is that you are standing up tall. So a lot of times I see people in this pose and they're kind of leaning forward too much. And if that's going to be too much of an issue for you, like in your low back, you're going to come into our next pose, which is that lunge. So that back heel is going to come up. You're going to bend into that back knee so you can pull your shoulders and hips right in line. And then you're going to lift up through the lower belly, bend deeply into that front knee. So this might be a point where you can even step a little bit longer and lift up. So again, bending any little bit you need to into that back knee in order to keep the belly in, the tailbone dropping, and shoulders right over those hips. So this is again your lunge, so arms can come up, they can come out, hands at your hips. This one you'll notice my hip bones are directly toward the front. So again, if I face you here, I'm grounding down, so I'm on my back toe. My feet are about hip distance apart, so I'm not on a tightrope side by side. I'm right here, and I'm lifting up, and then I'm pressing back. So you have that, notice my hip bones here, and then if I drop my back heel, my hip bones are facing you. If I drop my back heel, now my hip bones are slightly out at an angle, which is normal. So crescent or high lunge, and then warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. All right, so those are those 2. The third one is prasarita. So in a pyramid pose. So again, you're going to take a little shorter stance. I'm going to go sideways to begin. A little shorter stance so you can really square those hips. So with warrior 1, you could go a little bit deeper because you have that front leg bent. Now you're going to straighten both legs, but you really want to get those hips squared to the front like you did in that crescent lunge. So that means you might need to step in so that back heel can drop to the ground. You might even need to make your feet a little bit wider, maybe hip distance apart. So then from here, you're going to press in. Both legs are going to stay straight. Your hips are squared to the front, and then you're going to fold forward. As you start to fold forward, the tendency is going to want to be to round the spine, keep the shoulder blades on the back. The other thing is going to want to be to bend in this front knee. but you really want to get into that back hamstring. So from here, hands can stay on hips. If your hands don't quite reach the floor, then you bring those hands to blocks and lengthen out. So you want to try and imagine you have a block on your hips, keeping those hips nice and square, getting into that back hamstring, pushing into the back heel to lengthen forward, and then lengthen the chest forward. So staying with your pose. To come out of it, bend the knee slightly to push yourself up. All right, so we're going to try that in a little bit different ways of stepping forward and backward with this. So we'll start from standing. We'll do one side, then the other side. Then we'll do a little flow stepping back. And then we'll do a flow stepping up from downward facing dog. So you get a little bit of practice with each of these poses. So if you're not ready, set your mat up, follow along. Starting at the top of your mat, have those blocks just at the top, have your feet wide, and then from here you're going to turn your right toes out, come onto the ball of the back foot. So we're going to start with that crescent lunge. Bend into the front knee stacks right over that front ankle, and then take your hands just to your hips for now. Good. Notice if you can pull up through the lower belly, straighten that back leg nice and straight, and then keep the chest lifted. Breathe. Good. Take an inhale here. Notice where your hip bones are. And then as you exhale, take that back heel, drop it to the ground. And again, notice if you need to step it in or step it back. Heels to the ground, and just notice those hip bones are going to now face out a little angle. Press down to the front foot, drop the tailbone, pull up through the lower belly. Let's go with hands out wide. And you can bend your elbows. Good, keep squaring the chest. You're going to feel that nice stretch, a deeper stretch on that left side. Take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale, straightens that front leg. Exhale, hands to your hips. Take that back foot, step it in slightly and out a little bit more to the left. Both legs stay super straight. Both hip bones are pointed to the top of your mat. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, hinge forward. Right hip draws back slightly. Scissor those legs together almost like you want to get your inner thighs to touch. And either hands can stay on your hips. Maybe hands come to floor. Maybe they come to your blocks. Lengthen out. Big inhale here. And exhale. Good. Inhale here, lengthen. Exhale, bend into the front knee. Pressing an inhale lifts the chest. And then exhale, turn yourself to the long end of your mat. We'll switch to the other side. So other side, come up onto the ball of your back foot. Bring those blocks with you in case you need them to the other side. And pause there. So you're on the ball of the back foot, bend into that front knee. Draw in through the lower belly, and then lift up through the chest. Good. Keep dropping the tailbone. Shoulder blades onto the back. Good. Big inhale here. Exhale. Take the hands to your hips if you need balance. Otherwise, inhale, drop the back heel down. Kind of notice where you are. If it's too tight, shorten the stance, but keep that front knee over front ankle. Square the chest, lift up through the chest, and really push into the back outer edge of that right foot. Good. Engage that back glute slightly. One more big inhale. And exhale. Inhale, straightens the front leg. Exhale, hands come to your hips. Take that back foot, step it in slightly and more out to the side so that back heel can ground. Take an inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, hinge forward, draw that left hip back, right hip forward. Shoulder blades drawn to back, push into the ball of the front foot. And then again, notice where your hands can go. If you start to round, keep your hands on your hips. Otherwise, press into the ground or floor, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend into the front knee. As you inhale, press yourself up. And exhale, turn yourself to the long end of your mat. Good. Step to one end of your mat. Have the blocks handy. Bring your big toes to touch. Exhale fully. Inhale, takes those arms up. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, step the left foot back. So right foot's forward. Good, coming into that crescent lunge, so you have a nice long line here. You have that nice long line, you have your ankle over your knee, and then press into that front foot, lift the chest, arms go wide. So you're in that high lunge, that crescent lunge. Maybe arms reach. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, take that back heel to the ground. Good, square the chest. Your hips aren't going to square, but that's okay. You're gonna feel a good stretch. Engage that left glute, squeeze that muscle, push into the back heel. Inhale there. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, straightens the front leg. Take that left leg, really square it up, turn the toes to the front of the mat, and exhale, fold. Good, right hip back, left hip forward, lengthen. And then hands can reach maybe to the floor, maybe to the blocks. Keep the spine nice and long. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend into the front knee. Inhale, presses yourself up. As you exhale, take that left foot, step it forward. Good. Inhale brings you up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, step just the right foot back. So again, nice low lunge here with hands on the floor or blocks. Stack front knee and ankle, and then press into that front foot. Lift the chest. Lift the arms. Notice if you're pitching forward, bend into the back knee, draw up through the lower belly, lift the chest, and breathe. Over time, maybe you start to straighten, but be sure to protect the low back. Exhale here. On your inhale, drop that back heel to the ground, adjust the back leg, keeping that front knee over the front ankle, and really square the chest. Tailbone drops. Heart lifts as you press into the ground to lift the chest more. Big inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, hands to hips. Exhale, straighten the front leg. As you inhale, take that back leg, step it in slightly, really square the hips, both legs straight. Inhale, press into that front foot. Exhale, folding forward, keep that front leg nice and straight. Push into the back outer edge of the foot. Scissor those legs together, so right hip forward, left hip back. And then either hands stay on your hips, maybe to your shin, maybe to the blocks. And over time, maybe to the floor. But nice long spine, resist the urge to do this. Lengthen out so you're getting the benefit of the pose. Exhale here. Inhale, bending into that front knee. Exhale, press yourself up. Inhale, steps that foot forward. And exhale. Good. Now we're going to try stepping up. Inhale, takes those arms up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back, followed by the right. Pause in plank. Hands are set. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Take a nice big inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, hold. Look back, make sure all 5 toes are pointing to the ground. Take another big inhale. Exhale, draw knee to nose. Remember, lift the hips and step that foot forward. Nice low lunge here. So again, hands can be on blocks. If you haven't watched tips for stepping up, take a look at that one after this one and give it a try again. Back heels up. Inhale, lifts the chest. Exhale. Inhale, back heel drops. Warrior one. Feel the difference in the hips. Exhale. Inhale, hands to hips. Exhale, straighten the front leg, really square the hips, adjust that left foot out. Big inhale here, straighten that front leg. Exhale, fold. Good, inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend into the front knee, bring the hands to the blocks or floor. Extend the back leg long, that low lunge. Plant the hands, inhale, step back plank. Exhale, downward dog. Take a nice full inhale there. And exhale. Inhale, takes that left leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, pause there, lift through the hips, look to the back toes, make sure they're pointing to the ground. And exhale, draw knee to nose, lift the hips, stepping that foot forward. If it doesn't quite make it, help it all the way. Good, grounding down, knee over ankle, back heels lifted. Inhale, lifts the chest, lifts the arms. Draw in through the belly. Exhale here. Inhale, back heel drops. Exhale, square the chest, drop the tailbone. Take an inhale here. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, straightens the front leg. Exhale, step out that right foot to the side slightly, really square the hips. Press into that front foot. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, forward fold. Lengthen out, nice long spine. Big inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, bends into that front knee. Hands go to the floor if they're not already. Exhale, extend that back leg long for the low lunge. Plant the hands. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice full inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, brings those knees to the ground. Exhale, hips to heels, sitting up on those heels or sitting on your bum. Taking a moment here, notice how it feels. So hopefully that helps you a little bit more by repeating those. If you need to, repeat it again, go through it again, stop and pause. Notice how those hips are feeling when they're totally square, slightly opened. And if you haven't already, take a look at that stepping forward from downward facing dog so you're able to move a little bit more fluidly with that. And keep getting to your mat, keep practicing. And when you're ready, check out a beginner video. Let me know how it goes. Thanks for joining. Drink lots of water, eat your veggies, wear some sunblock. We'll see you next time. Namaste.